welcome back. We are going to be, basically this is the day before our tune. So we're just going to finish up a couple things, knock it out real quick, like adding another pressure sensor, which is basically going to be for our oil pressure. So this is the same one we're using for our fuel rail. Essentially it's 10 bar, came with our same connections as before. And then this is going to be our British fitting, which essentially goes to the original oil feed line or oil pressure line. So we're going to basically thread this onto here because this is 1/8, and then this is a 1/8 adapter to the 1/8 British fitting. I'll throw it on the screen. So we'll try and get these on there real quick just before our tune, so we can actually see our fuel pressure or oil pressure, because our oil pressure gauge is not truly working too well. So I'm just guessing that this is dying. The old one is dying. So we'll get that swapped out and then throw it on there. All right, cool. So took the old fuel filter off. Also, if you need to take this off, don't try and do it by hand. Just put a 30 on the top of this and spin it off of these, or tighten it up, either or. But yeah, so this fitting works perfectly fine in there. Just put some Teflon tape on there just for added insurance. Same with the pressure sensor. So I'll merge these two together and then I'll throw it in there, because I think it's going to be a little difficult tightening this down when it's outside of the car. It's also going to be difficult tightening it down anyway. So yeah, let's add these two together and then we'll throw it in. So firing it up so we can see what's going on in here.
Yeah, it looks like we're not leaking oil everywhere, which is a really important thing. Now we just got to get our fitting set up and we should be good to go. Our fitting, our power and our signal wire, and we should be good to go. Hook it up to the ECU.
Hit it back together. No issues there. Everything looks good. I'm going to clean up what's down there back in this area just to see what it looks like when I get to UMS tuning, which is where I'll be going tomorrow. And then I need to finish up the oil pressure wiring. Should be the last thing. And then pack a toolbox just in case. So let's wrap these up real quick, solder it in all the way, and then we should be set. And if you're doing the same thing I am, where you're using two pressure sensors, you can use the same 5-volt connection off of one in order to power the second one as well. So I just spliced into the fuel pressure the fuel pressure sensor in order to power the oil pressure sensor as well. Same with the ground, use the same spliced in section. For the ground, I just got a new signal wire. That was it. So I'll show you the settings that we have on the PC and for the ECU settings, and we should be good to go. Okay, cool. So looking at the ECU and the link itself, we'll go to ECU settings like we usually do. We're going to type in oil pressure. And once you have oil pressure, you are essentially going to, sorry, you can hear my fan. With the oil pressure, you're just going to hit the oil pressure itself, not a switch, because we're not doing anything additional. And then you're pretty much going to set the source to whatever you want. I use temp 4 instead of temp, which is the one for the expansion loom. It's the first plug. It's hard to describe. Temp 4 is pretty much just what it is. It's right above temp 3. It's right above what I'm using for the fuel pressure signal as well on the expansion loom. So set it to temp 4. Use the same exact settings for the air low and high, since that's what it calls for. And then everything else is pretty much default, air value the same, just in case I can find it. And then I did change this to 150 PSI for the calibration instead of the 8 bar that was there before. It raised up the pressure a little bit, but that's okay. Or sorry, it lowered it a little bit when I put it to 150, which I think is probably more accurate. So now we can see the fuel pressure and we can see the oil pressure. So we should be good to see it all at this point. And yeah, that should be about it. So once you have that set up and you have it connected, it should turn on and then you should be able to see it in there, which I'll show a video here in a second. All right, so it's the day before dyno. We're really just doing dyno prep for everything. So I took the spark plugs out just to make sure I could get them out. Since we have the new ones ready to go, everything's looking good there. I did, however, notice that when I was putting the oil pressure sensor in, can I get the light on? You can see the brown. It would appear that my head gasket might be just either letting go or the head's not tightened down all the way. So I'm gonna take the lid, the valve cover off, just so I can actually get to it and then make sure the head bolts are tightened down. I did the same thing last time, but I didn't see any leaks last time. I just kind of did it as an extra measure. So we'll see how it goes. Let's get the head off. We already got all the bolts loose for everything all the way around, so we should be able to just lift this up, as we can see, pull it up, and then double check all of our head bolts are nice and tight, torque to spec, so we're ready to go for tomorrow. So with the ARP head studs and the stock specs, I'm gonna go down to doing the 3 stages. It's already been there, but just gonna check it, make sure it's all there. 30, 45, and 60, 58, 60 is what the manual requires. So I'm gonna use a 1/2 inch, use my torque wrench, and then try and knock it all out, working our way from the center and working our way around, kind of like in a circle motion. So just so we don't warp the head. Let's get to it. All right, so we got everything torqued down again, inside out, all the way around, good to go. The front left was a little looser than the rest of them, so I just double checked that one since that's where it appears to be or has been leaking in the past. So see if that works. 3-layer head gasket, metal head gasket, so should be okay with it, but I guess we'll see tomorrow. One way or another, I just know that I'm losing water and I can't seem to find out where it's going. So I can just see that trail going down the left side. Could be it, could not be, who knows. But at least that way we double checked it and made sure we checked everything we could check. So let's slap this back on, tighten that down, and then we can do our other checks. Up, everything done as best we can. Besides getting some of these tools out of here. We got all our tools and everything. Might as well take this with us. Got all our tools in our box, so we're ready to go for tomorrow. We got injectors for us to swap it out when we get there, the tools to swap everything out when we get there. Our little mini computer. Yeah, man. I think that's pretty much it. We have some extra water in the trunk just in case we need it. Yeah, man. So fingers crossed everything goes well. We don't have any issues tomorrow, but keep you guys posted, man. So that's it for this one. I'll catch y'all after the dyno tune, and I'll see you then. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace. Please don't blow up. I think we made it. Surprised that we made it. Glad that we made it. So now I just need to swap injectors. Once we get the new injectors on, put the new clips on, we should be set. So let's knock it out. Wait begins. On race gas, which is insane. I'm blown away, to be honest with you. I only wanted 300, so I'm on a 15-pound spring minimum with electronic boost controller. Up to 25 pounds on race gas will get you 370. On pump 91, it'll be 270. So very happy, very happy. That should be more than enough any day of the week for me. So I barely drive this car as is. I want to drive it more often, so that'll be cool. But man, the couple pulls that I got into it, it was freight training. So that was good to see. It was an experience because I've never been in this car that fast before, so really cool. But we got some things to discuss. So this is the day after the tune. Just kind of doing some checks and balances of stuff. I know the valve cover itself, not sure if this is just a crack or what it is, but that definitely needs to get fixed because it is leaking oil slightly. It's also doing a little bit on this side too, but I've also seen last time when I was down here looking at the coolant, thinking that that's where my coolant was going, and it probably still is, but all this oil looks to be pretty fresh. I cleaned most of this up the day before the tune, so this is after the fact. So probably just need to replace my head gasket to be safe. No big deal. Should take a day or so. So I'll get a new one, replace that, and then should be good to go. But the grand scheme of things, if that is the case and it was a leaky head gasket, then should make more power, I guess, slightly. Losing a little bit of compression up front, but I mean, the rest of it seems like it's doing great, so no complaints. But I'll get a head gasket ordered probably the next few weeks, and then we'll drive it as it is, just keep our eyes on the oil level and make sure water's still there. And then, yeah, should be good. Back to normal again. But I'm glad that the tune went according to plan. Everything went well, didn't break down, didn't blow up, which is the most important thing. So very, very thankful for that. Thank you, UMS Tuning. All right, guys, so the obvious happened, which is what I talked about before. Right before the tune was that portion that was kind of slightly leaking. Well, it got a little bit worse after the tune. So we just pretty much, my understanding is that we probably blew a head gasket, which not the end of the world. Done them a couple times before, so we can just do it again. Waiting for the head gasket to show up. But in the meantime, this is pretty much what we're gonna go through. I gotta take the head off in order to get to the head gasket, and then I've already taken off some of the assembly stuff just to get underneath the valve cover. I tried to tighten it down again with a torque wrench. Jeez, with a torque wrench. That torque wrench setting was like 65 foot-pounds, and it didn't make a difference. It's tight all the way through. Started the car up, still leaked a little bit, so we're gonna replace the head gasket, unfortunately. But at the end of the day, not that big of a deal. We caught it early. That's the big thing. I didn't see anything in the oil. I didn't see anything in the coolant necessarily. I think it's just on the perimeter of where the head gasket is. So overall, I think we are still gonna be okay. I'm going to put on a new Comatech head gasket and then see if everything's gonna work out just fine. If not, we'll take it to the machine shop, double check the head is not warped, clean it up if it is, and then go from there. So with that said, I also noticed that my valve cover had a little slight crack here in it. It's kind of odd. I'm not really sure how that even happens, but overall, we'll probably save this valve cover, use it again for the time being, because it already has our AN fittings and everything set up for it. So we'll just kind of continue using that. But I also bought another one a long time ago. So all I'm doing right now, because I don't like this color, obviously, we'll get that powder coated. That's whatever. But I need to get these vacuum fittings out from the front and the back. So I'm just gonna use vice grips, keep rotating it essentially, and then that way I can get it to slightly move enough to where it will hopefully just come on out as we keep wiggling it and moving forward with it. And that'll be the same for both. So once we're done with that, then we can weld on some AN fittings and have it very similar to that one. But that's gonna take some time. So I'm not really worried about that yet. The leak that comes out of this is very minimal, so we'll continue running that for the time being until we get that one situated. But now that we have this, yeah, we're gonna start working on taking the head off. We're gonna try and we'll drain all the stuff, the usual. We'll basically try and keep some of the turbo stuff on. Probably gonna regret that later. If I remember this last time, I had to take the exhaust manifold off. Intake manifold I could keep on, but still, yeah. So we'll see. We'll see how far we get. All right, so we got the head bolts all the way off for the nuts all the way off for all of them. So now it's time to try and yank this thing off with everything still attached. It's gonna be a heavy boy. Hopefully I don't blow my back out. Wait, pause. And we got our head gasket. Comatech gasket. Last time I used this, worked pretty well. I think I just, like I said, overheated the head at some point when the fans didn't kick on that one day, so all good. But I'll use the same formula I did last time, was this and then copper spray, just to kind of extra seal any imperfections if there are any. But yeah, let's get this head off, shall we? Well, we'll get the engine hoist in here. All right, so I had to have the engine hoist in here because in order to keep the turbo and intake manifold on, it's just too heavy, way too heavy. I'm strong, but I'm not that strong. So now everything should be detached at this point, so we can hopefully just lift this off, set it over here on our little workbench for the time being, since that's covered up by a couple other items. But aside from that, yeah, see what we got. cool. Finally got the head out. Overall, took way longer than it needed to, but here we are. Got it out. That's the important thing. So this side's out too. Looking good, looking good. And now we can take a look at the head gasket and see what's going on here. So let me just take a before picture. So looking at first glance, I didn't really see anything wrong, but pulling out the new one just to kind of compare side to side. Not pulling it all the way out because I don't want to get it all dirty and whatnot, but looking at these, you can see that there's like a ridge on the head gasket itself. It kind of just sits a little ways up. Let me just pull this part out so you can see on the end. A little ridge that sits up that you can feel when you touch it. I don't feel any ridge here anymore. So my thought is that it's just leaking out here. I still feel a ridge in some of these other places, not all of them. Ridge there, ridge there, ridge there. Slight ridge, nothing here. Nothing, nothing, which are the places that it was leaking at. So it's good to know. But either way, I think I am going to have the head resurfaced just to be safe. But you can see all here, just leaking right out the side of it. So we needed to do it anyway. But everything else looks good, which I'm very happy about. So let's move this over to the bench and then we can just let it sit for a second. We'll need to take all this stuff off on the side to take it to the machine shop, but shouldn't be the end of the world. I'll call the machine shop just to see what their lead times are with everything and then go from there. But we have the new head gasket already, so we're good to go there. Everything looks good with the block still, which is the best news. And then the head itself could use a refresh, no big deal. And then we'll see where we're at. But then we could do some other stuff in the meantime. So when things are down, we take the opportunity to do something different or upgrade something else. So we'll see what that turns into. All right, so I called the machine shop now that we have everything separated just to see what everything would run. Decent price, so not bad. So overall, I'm gonna go ahead and just take everything off turbo-wise, intake-wise, and that way it'll just be the head itself. Drop it off. I need to get all the extra seals out. I have other ones already. I've just been storing for a while, so put those in, take any electronic stuff off, and then, yeah, drop this coolant hose off, and we should be set. So let's separate everything real quick, and then we should be good to drop it off at the machine shop. Assuming everything goes well, if it's just a check, we'll be good. Get it back, no big deal. But if we have to if we have to shave the head down a little bit on the bottom side, then it'll probably be maybe like Tuesday, Wednesday next week. So hopefully all goes well. But either way, if not, and it can still fix the head or whatever, then I'm happy. So keep it going. Cool, so we got the intake and exhaust side off. Intake, exhaust, and everything, yeah, still looks the same. I think the gasket for the exhaust side, sorry, not this side, wasn't tight on the far right side, no big deal. But I'm thinking about just getting all new gaskets anyway, just to make sure the head's completely refreshed so we don't have any concerns. But yeah, and then this plug, I know it's not needed for anything at this point, so I'm probably just gonna pull it out and weld that shut, because I'm tired of replacing the rubber thing. So yeah, if you guys know a reason why I shouldn't do that, tell me. But otherwise, I'm probably gonna end up doing that. So this valve cover's not gone, but everything is off the head now. So we're ready to take it to the machine shop again. Everything else is just scattered on the floor for the most part with everything. So covering this up with some papers, just to prevent anything from flying into it. But everything looked good on the head from what I could tell. So no cracks, no issues. Everything, or sorry, on the head. Everything on the block looked okay. Everything on the head, we'll find out if it's okay. But have the new head gasket, good to go. So yeah, trash can works great. Stay tuned, man. We'll see what happens in the next one. Like, comment, subscribe, man. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.